Good evening and welcome to the Local Eye. I'm Jasmine Camel.
And I'm Emily Jeffers. Tonight, a look at a controversy brewing over what to do with the old Yankee power plant, plus a new memorial aimed at honoring our local veterans.
But first, it's hard to believe, but it has already been a month since Superstorm Sandy slammed the East Coast. The aftermath changed the Connecticut coastline forever. Local Eye reporter Heather O'Brien has the story.
Storm Sandy left hundreds of thousands of people in the dark with 80-mile-per-hour winds that destroyed many places along the shoreline. These damages, so severe that President Barack Obama declared the 4 shoreline counties as disaster areas.
Wish for them the best. I mean, it's true devastation when you have no home, nowhere to go, and not a great deal of help.
After recovering from Tropical Storm Irene 14 months ago, people on the shoreline were more prepared for round 2.
I did not think it would amount to anything. I did not get extra water. I did nothing. Yeah. This year, because I learned from that, I did so much more.
Flooding and fallen trees overnight rendered many roads impassable, while streets closer to the water remained submerged or covered in feet of sand.
And honestly, I would not own a house on the water anymore because it seems like this pattern, last year with Hurricane Irene, this year Hurricane Sandy, 2 years in a row. I don't know. Something's like, I believe in global warming, and I think that it's going to become a trend, so I would not live near the water.
Police use pontoon boats to check on residents in towns such as Fairfield, Westport, and Norwalk. By the end of the storm, Sandy left over 600,000 residents in the state out of power.
Well, I live in Clinton, so I lost power for 6 days. I have 2 young children, 4 and 6, so we went and stayed in a hotel for 4 nights.
Though the total outages were lower than Storm Irene and Winter Storm Alfred, the damages were far worse.
Flooded basement, throwing out a lot of garbage, a lot of debris.
Since utility workers were faced with heavy criticism for last year's storms, they made sure the new policies and coordinations between towns and the utilities were updated.
You know, I always thought they did a great job. Someone has to be first to have the lights put on, someone has to be last, and it's a long, long wait for those, especially when it gets cold, but they do the best they can. I know several linemen, and it's a tough job. So people think you just flip a switch. It's a lot more complicated than that.
Although CLMP had 400 of their workers out on the road, they were still scrambling to restore power.
Personally, in my neighborhood, we were like the last ones to get it in my town, so not too happy about that. Maybe because we had so many people with generators and we have underlying power or wires, I don't know. But compared to last year, much better.
Out-of-state reinforcements were called in to help, leaving the total at 1,080 outside linesmen.
However, I run a concession stand in Deep River and was quite busy feeding the crewmen that came from out of state, so it was nice to see all the help that arrived.
Storm Sandy also took 3 innocent lives, confirmed by Governor Daniel Malloy on Monday evening. As our state begins to work towards recovery, communities are coming together to help rebuild what was lost during Storm Sandy. This is Heather O'Brien reporting from Middlesex Community College's Local Eye.
To date, more than 10,000 people in Connecticut have asked for assistance from the federal government in the wake of the storm.
After the storm hit, many people had to turn to local shelters for a place to stay. Our Local Eye reporter, Tyler Greenbacker, takes us to one place that helped provide folks with some relief.
Hurricane Sandy stormed through the state, leaving over 500,000 people without electricity, heat, or even a place to call home.
I have 2 guys that came in. I actually have 2 guys. Actually, one of the guys that are here now is an employee. His house, I guess it caught damage on fire due to the storm. So he's actually took a cot here, one of the employees. And it's also, there's one other gentleman from that same building that came in here.
The Salvation Army in New Britain provides shelter for the homeless and the residents that were affected by Sandy.
We only had like 6 guys that stayed, but it's hard. It's hard for one person to do it. It's the fund's not there for other people to do it and stuff like that. And we just, we try.
So do here at the shelter when we do find out there's a storm like
the nor'easter.
The nor'easter.
Yeah.
So what we do now is we have the shelter on alert, which we'll have the shelter open 24/7, just like as with Storm Sandy.
During the winter, the shelter can add more bed space for residents to stay out of the cold weather.
We had a few couple more people, but there was a fire too up on Hart Street that we took in a couple of people from that too.
Brian Boyer tells us he just wants to do what he can to help those in need during an emergency.
Us as a shelter, we try to keep these guys, safe and everything. But we have had, like when 9/11 happened, we had the canteen that went to New York. That was up there for a year. So we do try to help out other communities except just ours.
Even though damage was minimal in the central part of the state compared to the shoreline, people still felt the effects from Hurricane Sandy.
Honestly, and staff, we had to evacuate from this shelter. We do have a neighborhood shelter in here in town, which is called the Friendship Center. Hopefully we could use their facility. Other than that, the guys would probably have to be spread throughout Connecticut in different shelters.
This is Tyler Greenbacker reporting from the local Eye, New Britain. Now back to Jasmine and Emily in the studio.
If you need to find a shelter or need access to state and federal disaster emergency service resources, log on to www.211ct.org or you call 211 directly.
Are you prepared for another storm? Do more than cross your fingers when an emergency or disaster strikes. Get Red Cross ready. The Red Cross wants to plan to help people prepare and be informed during an emergency. They offer many tips, including having a survival kit ready to go, which means having a 3-day supply of water, food, and medical supplies on hand. You can learn how to prepare your home, family, or workplace by going to www.redcross.org/prepare and completing an online education session. You can also download an emergency preparation checklist.
If Sandy wasn't enough, Mother Nature decided to serve up another storm. Just 1 week after the hurricane slammed into the coast, a nor'easter arrived in New England. On November 7th, the storm dumped over 13 inches of snow in some parts of Connecticut. 65-mile-per-hour winds created by the storm and the large amount of snow brought more power outages to the region. Coming up on the local Eye, a holiday favorite put on hold after an awful robbery. Find out when Holiday Light Fantasia will shine once again.
We have this story and more coming up only on the local Eye.
Anna Wasesha, president of Middlesex Community College. I know how mind-boggling it can be to make a decision about which college or which program is right for you, or to help someone you care about make that decision. That's why I think starting out or restarting your college career at a community college is such a great idea. Our faculty and staff are here to help you make good choices about the 3 C's: college, career, and community involvement. I hope you'll visit Middlesex soon to see if we're the right college for you.
Money is a big deal when choosing a school. MXCC is very affordable and has so much to offer. The professors care about how you're pursuing your dreams. My professor sat down with me and mapped out the best way to go about it. It helped me focus on my future.
When I first decided on MXCC, it was actually the cost that caught my interest. But what really sold me was how the teachers are so friendly and engaging.
Are you sure you're gonna be okay?
We'll be fine, Mom. You just don't worry. We'll be okay.
Oh, the books. Did you get all the books?
Yes, I have the books right here.
You know, this is a big responsibility, PJ.
Here's your books, Mom. Have a great class.
You guys stay out of trouble.
Okay.
The Connecticut Yankee power plant in Haddam Neck is drawing a lot of attention with local residents. It has been decommissioned since 2004, and now people want to know what will happen to the property. Local Eye reporter Joey Allard has the story.
Throughout the quiet area of Haddam, East Haddam, and Haddam Neck, all the residents have one common topic: the Connecticut Yankee power plant. The plant was once a fully operative facility that began operations in 1968.
I've been here 35 years, and I was here when Connecticut Yankee was in operation, and I was just telling these gentlemen that when Connecticut Yankee was in operation, we never lost power. And even if we did, it went on within an hour.
In 1996, the plant ceased electricity production, and by 2004, it was decommissioned. and being prepared for future use.
I think if it's decommissioned, it's a matter of who's going to pay to take it down. That's really what the problem is. I think the state has no money to do anything. The state should be involved in it, I suppose, but I think with their shortage of money and the position they're in today, it's going to be difficult for them to do it.
The well-known containment dome was demolished in 2006. 2006 to 2011, they watched the radiation levels in the surrounding groundwater.
Really nice area on the side of the river right there. I mean, it's a gorgeous spot to have. I mean, I go down there a lot.
The only radioactive material that remains is fuel storage containers waiting for their disposal. The site has one of the best views on the Connecticut River, and with the 582 acres of untouched land surrounding it, the question becomes what to do with the land.
I would prefer to see it kept in the original state, particularly along the river, because there's a shortage of land up on the river.
Connecticut Yankee has expressed interest in selling the property, noting its exceptional real estate opportunity.
I mean, I'd hate to see a business or anything really going down there. I mean, it definitely should just stay preserved.
I can't imagine it being developed for residential.
With Heard State Park bordering the property, Haddam is no stranger to preserving wildlife and environment. Since Connecticut Yankee Power has expressed plans in selling the property, many residents have come together with plans of purchasing the property to preserve it. I'm Joey Allard with the Local Eye.
What will happen to the land is unknown. It is completely in Connecticut Yankees' hands.
A historical church is beginning its comeback. The church was built in 1842 and went up in flames on New Year's Day. Construction crews are starting to lay the foundation for the new Summers Congregational Church of Christ. Building planners are still calculating the cost of rebuilding the church and when it can reopen. Church services are still being held at Johnson Memorial Medical Center.
In Hartford, a Christmas Scrooge delays the opening of Holiday Light Fantasia at Goodwin Park. The opening of the event was delayed a week after someone broke into the storage of the trailers. The thieves got away with chainsaws, copper wiring, and equipment that was needed for the displays. The original opening date was set for November 17th, but due to this theft, it was pushed back to November 24th. The Holiday Light Fantasia benefits the popular Channel 3 Kids Camp in Andover. Anyone with any information is asked to contact Hartford Police at 860-757-4000.
2 middle schools in Southington are getting much-needed renovations, but something caused the project to come to a sudden halt. We'll tell you about it when the Local Eye returns.
Take place in the summer of 2013 with a big price tag of $85 million.
Connecticut's community colleges offer affordable higher education that can help you succeed in the information age. Thousands of Connecticut community college graduates have earned degrees in high-demand fields like technology, manufacturing, allied health, nursing, and more. And thousands of our alumni have transferred to some of the best universities in the country. Looking for expert faculty and a supportive learning environment? Enroll at a Connecticut community college for education that works for a lifetime.
Kennedy and DePaulo middle schools in Southington are about to undergo renovations for the first time since they were built in the 60s.
But the discovery of asbestos and PCBs in the building will leave a bigger dent in the budget. Our Local Eye reporter Olivia Lank has the story.
The renovations at both Kennedy and DePaulo middle schools will take place in the summer of 2013 with a big price tag of $85 million. But many residents, including middle school parent Lori Morelli, say it is worth it.
Everything needs to be updated. It's too small for the town of Southington.
John F. Kennedy Middle School was built in 1964, while Joseph A. DePaulo Middle School was built in 1968. The 50-year-old schools are not equipped with an up-to-date learning environment and are overcrowded. Current student Rebecca Lopresti is excited about the renovations.
I'd be really excited if it happened because our school is really old and the technology that we have is still, it looks a little outdated with our school.
The focus of the renovations came to a halt when the discovery of PCBs were found at both schools in the windows, doors, and other commonly used spaces. A high level of asbestos was also found in both of the middle schools as well. There is no immediate danger to the students and staff inside of the middle schools. The PCBs and asbestos will be removed properly in the summer of 2013. Along with the environmental concerns, another concern has been brought up. Leftover oil from an oil spill at DePalo in the 1980s was found. Unfortunately, it wasn't found until these renovations had started. When initially spilled, the oil was not cleaned up correctly, which has left the town with a bigger mess and more to pay.
So I've been out back 2 Saturdays in a row watching them pump out the contaminated recovery wells from the oil spill in 1980.
A town council meeting was held in the library at DePalo Middle School. On the agenda, there were reports from the architect, construction manager, and the Board of Education Council to update the town about the status of the renovations.
Hygienics has done the sampling of the soils along the oil tanks. So we do have some information back on that. The estimated contaminated soils here at DePalo is 700 cubic yards of material. We ran some numbers, and we anticipate that the budget impact is going to be $100,000 to remove the soils, and also we anticipate there's going to be some groundwater.
People aren't as worried about the price of the renovations because the schools are so old and outdated. When asked about the price, it was a no-brainer for most people.
Absolutely not. Needs to be done.
The renovations will consist of additions to the schools and an overall complete renovation. The parking lot at Kennedy Middle School will also be redone because of the need for more space.
They're putting on a classroom addition to the south. They're adding a huge media center and all administrative offices to the west of both schools. And then they're renovating as new the rest of the school.
As a student of the school, Lopresti sees firsthand what is wrong with her school and what she thinks needs to be done.
I definitely think there needs to be air conditioning. The girls' locker room needs to be changed because there are tiles chipped, there are curtains that are down, and it all looks very old. The gym should be changed because it's all very ratty and just very musty and dirty.
As the summer of 2013 gets closer, Southington is hoping that no new discoveries are found. The renovations were supposed to take 3 years to be finished, but they are on a fast track now and are estimating it to take only 2 years. Even though many residents in Southington are happy about the renovations, some people are getting frustrated. The town of Southington has been asking residents to sell their houses to make more land for the schools. Some have sold their houses, but some are standing their ground. In Southington, I'm Olivia Link reporting for the Local Eye.
If you would like to know more information about the renovations happening at the Southington Middle Schools, you can visit www.southingtonpatch.com.
Fontana football field at Southington High School has been looking a little different lately. After years of discussion, the Board of Education in Southington decided to remodel the high school football field. The remodel included a new track and a turf field. The school wanted the renovations because the old field was very uneven, causing injuries and flooding for most of the year. The $900,000 renovation started at the end of August and was finally completed in late October. The renovations were slightly behind schedule, but the field is now ready to be played on by the Southington Blue Knights football team.
The fourth largest hospital in the United States will now be located in New Haven. Yale New Haven Hospital and St. Raphael Hospitals have merged and will become one healthcare facility. With the hospitals merging, their finances are stable and they will not have to build a new facility. Some employees were concerned about losing their jobs, but the hospitals worked together to minimize job losses. The new merger will have a combined staff of 11,000 employees.
Honoring our local vets, how one town is creating lasting tributes to those who served our country, the story when we return.
you sure you're gonna be okay?
Be fine, Mom. Just don't worry. We'll be okay.
Oh, the books. Did you get all the books?
Yes, I have the books right here.
You know, this is a big responsibility, PJ.
Here's your books, Mom. Have a great class.
You guys stay out of trouble.
Okay.
Veterans Day arrives every November 10th, and every year, veteran organizations run events to promote awareness and to remember those no longer with us. Local reporter Andrew Sachs went to Middletown for the story. He tells us about a lasting tribute that is in the works.
I'm here in Middletown at the Veterans Memorial Green, where a Veterans Day service is being held to honor and remember those who have served our country. Veterans Day is a holiday where we take one day out of the year to honor those who have taken up arms to defend and serve our country. Most of the veterans at the ceremony were from the draft era. Some signed up of their own free will, like Edward Roulette, who joined the Navy after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
I didn't join it to be proud or to be arrogant in either way. But I figured that somebody took care of me, why not help others?
Others, like veteran Jerry Augustine, didn't have a choice, and their lives were forever interrupted.
I believe that it was my job to serve my country. And I was going to UConn at the time, and I got drafted.
The ceremony was hosted by the Council of Veterans in Middletown, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the Middletown Vietnam Veterans. City and state officials attended the event. The mayor of Middletown, Daniel Drew, talked about the importance of Veterans Day.
It's something that we should never lose sight of 365 days a year, because the freedom that we enjoy every single day of every single year since the dawn of this republic has been ensured by those very veterans.
The mayor continued to talk about how Middletown veterans and the city are working together to further honor our veterans.
We're working on bringing Connecticut Trees of Honor Memorial here to Middletown. It's going to be a memorial at Veterans Park, and we're going to honor the men and women from Connecticut who have lost their lives in the post-9/11 conflicts.
Later that day, another ceremony was held at the State Veterans Cemetery in Middletown. Connecticut veterans from all over the state came to honor those lost.
It's a day I remember my friends who are no longer with me, and I think about all that we did and all that they did.
Governor Daniel P. Malloy was in attendance. This Veterans Day event was the first of its kind to ever be attended by a Connecticut governor. The governor was heavily involved in Veterans Day weekend.
We've been doing events Friday, Saturday, today. We'll do events tomorrow to mark Veterans Day, Veterans Day weekend. Connecticut is responsible for 1.1 million veterans in the history of the United States, and we need to honor the contributions of those who return, and that's what this day is set aside to do.
The governor talked about how important it is to honor Veterans Day, but also the need to take care of our veterans in the coming future.
In the last number of months, we have set aside additional funds and additional ways to support our veterans, including just this past week, setting aside a new website so that every veteran can understand every right, every entitlement that has been made available to them in our state.
During the ceremony, wreaths were placed in honor of those we've lost and those still serving. A special wreath was placed at the headstone of former governor and veteran William O'Neill. State Representative Joseph Serra emphasized how Veterans Affairs are something that should never be set aside.
Always, any opportunity I have to honor them who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and also those who have returned, I'm there. Whatever they need, I'm supportive of.
Even though some of us will never know what it's like to serve, chances are we know someone who does or has.
And my uncle, Horace Jackson, served in Vietnam.
My whole family has served. My uncles and my father all served in World War II and in Korea, and a lot of my cousins were in Vietnam.
My grandpa served in World War II.
My father served in the Navy during World War II.
I have a brother who's a Vietnam War veteran, just turned 70 yesterday.
Veterans Day is a time to remember, but it also stands as an important reminder.
Taking care of them who have returned back. Sometimes they have scars that you can't see, so it's important that we do that.
This is Andrew Sachs reporting for the Local Eye.
The website the governor mentioned can be found at www.veterans.ct.gov.
The empty hub in Meriden is looking to turn into a possible park to attract more people to the downtown area. Since the success from the circus, ice rink, car shows, and other annual events, the hub would be a good spot to put a park. The park would include a waterway bridge, trails, and even a small plaza. It would be a smaller imitation to Hubbard Park. The entire transformation is expected to cost between $7 million and $12 million and to happen in less than 2 years.
That is all we have for the stories tonight. Thank you for watching The Local Eye. I'm Emily Jeffers.
And I'm Jasmine Campbell. Thanks for watching and have a good night.